All you homeowners have unique needs. Some feel the need to paint their door a vibrant shade of blue. Others have the need to decorate their bathroom with fish, anchors, and other nautical items. And because each homeowner has unique needs, Geico helps you get the right coverage for your home and what's in it. That way, you get exactly what's right for you, even if your needs are unique. Get more with Geico.
You just realized your business needed to hire someone yesterday. How can you find amazing candidates fast? Easy. Just use Indeed. Stop struggling to get your job post seen on other job sites. With Indeed sponsored jobs, your post jumps to the top of the page for your relevant candidates, so you can reach the people you want faster. According to Indeed data, sponsored jobs posted directly on Indeed have 45% more applications than non-sponsored jobs. Don't wait any longer. Speed up your hiring right now with Indeed. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/kidsandfamily. Just go to Indeed.com/kidsandfamily right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Hiring? Indeed is all you need. You just realized your business needed to hire someone yesterday. How can you find amazing candidates fast? Easy. Just use Indeed. Stop struggling to get your job post seen on other job sites. With Indeed sponsored jobs, your post jumps to the top of the page for your relevant candidates, so you can reach the people you want faster. According to Indeed data, sponsored jobs posted directly on Indeed have 45% more applications than non-sponsored jobs. Don't wait any longer. Speed up your hiring right now with Indeed. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/kidsandfamily. Just go to Indeed.com/kidsandfamily right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Hiring? Indeed is all you need.
Welcome to Uncluttered and Unfiltered, the podcast urging you to let it go and don't look back, with nationally acclaimed professional organizer Christine Stone and self-proclaimed hot damn mess radio and TV personality Eden Kendall.
Welcome everybody to Uncluttered and Unfiltered with Eden and Christine. Christine is a professional organizer, and that doesn't just mean the space around her. She lives her life in an organized manner.
I try my best.
And I am kind of a, scattered mess, and that's okay. It
You're
works
trying,
for me.
though.
I am
always
trying.
say you're trying.
I'm doing my best.
Yes, I've been a good influence.
You have, and you should own that. I'm glad you are owning that. So we're going to do something a little different for this episode, and we really hope you guys enjoy it. And if you do, let us know. And if you want us to do what we're about to do with your situation anonymously, you can always reach out to us. But we're going to do a play on something that's very popular online called, I'm just going to say the word one time, it's Am I the Asshole? And it's basically where you take a scenario and then you discuss it and you decide who is the bad guy. We'll say, am I the drama?
Right.
So am I the drama? And I have 3 scenarios that I came up with from just people submitting things online that I think could be in our wheelhouse. These are things that I think that our listeners, our community,
over 50
of women over 50 could potentially come across, whether it's themselves or a friend. But before we launch into all of that, it's a check-in. I haven't seen you in, 2 weeks?
Yeah,
maybe?
2 weeks.
So how's it going? I know you got to spend some time with your grandson.
Yes, it was his 2nd birthday. And
Has it been 2 years?
Yeah,
Wow.
it's been 2 years. So it Stamina, which is an upcoming episode, we'll talk about that. But he's 2, and when you're 62 around a 2-year-old, it can be exhausting. But I see my daughter and I'm like, God, she's my hero. So, she's with them all day. So I could do it for 4, right?
Yeah, you can do 4 days of it.
But he's adorable.
As long as you get to have a day off afterwards.
Yes,
to relax.
exactly.
But again, like you mentioned, there's an entire episode coming your way about that.
Yes.
So
what about you? Well, I want to also bring up your roller skating thing. How's that going?
Okay.
You were taking lessons.
Yes, I'm taking lessons and it's going well, but I decided the other day that I was off on Monday. We all had the day off on Monday, and I had a whole to-do list. And my to-do list included practicing and doing a little meal prep, trying to get some meals put in some containers and in the freezer that I
like
could just grab.
that.
Yes, that's
Like
a
that.
new kind of thing for me. So I got through the first few things on my list, cleaning, going to the gym, and then I settled in for a nap. And before I knew it was almost time for my husband to get home from work, and I was no longer going to have the house to myself.
Right.
So I had to combine. I had to multitask. So I roller skated and meal prepped at the same time.
Oh, my. In
Would
your
you-
house.
In my kitchen, yes.
my God.
So the video, if you'd like, I will post that video.
Yes, I would like.
Of me meal prepping and roller skating around in my kitchen like
Oh, my God.
I know.
You crack me up.
I know, we're very different. We're very different.
That's why it
So-
works.
That's why things work. All right, so I thought I would start off with one of these Am I the Dramas
Okay.
that perhaps you can relate to. Having
And
just
by the
spent
way, I
time.
haven't heard any of these.
You
so
have
she's
not.
like springing this
These
on
are,
me.
yeah, because
Okay.
what I want is your reaction.
Yes.
Okay, I thought you'd enjoy this one. My daughter-in-law, this is just an anonymous person. My daughter-in-law has declared that she will not be allowing any photos of my new granddaughter to be posted on social media, and yet she never sends me hard copies of photos. I would love to be a proud granny and show off my sweet angel, and I feel like this isn't an unreasonable request. Am I the problem here? What does she think will happen? I know the world is a dangerous place, but she is constantly sending me texts with photos, but I'm not allowed to do anything with them. Am I the drama for thinking she's being a little bit over the top? All of my friends that have Facebook post pictures of themselves with their grandkids, and I feel left out. Okay, so do you have any rules like that for
Yes.
yourself, from your daughter?
Yes. Yes. See, on Instagram and TikTok and all those places, I'm under my business. So it's different than having a private account because my accounts aren't private. So, yes, we do have that rule that I'm not allowed to post anything that it has his face on it. Now, one thing I'm going to say as a grandma that I have learned, and it took me a little bit of time to learn because being a mom, I think you want to have your say and have your opinions because you were a mom.
Right.
Whatever she wants, I do. That's my
Yeah.
role. Whatever she says, I do. Now, she does send us photos and we're allowed to show them to friends and people. It's just not on social media. And I have to say, in this day and age, whatever somebody wants with that, I think it should be respected because it is a crazy world we live in with the internet, social media, and you don't know what people will do with your pictures and AI.
Yeah,
I mean,
and
you
AI.
just don't know. So anyway, but as a grandma, whatever she says goes. That's my new thinking in my brain.
Yeah, you really can't. You can't not do that. I mean, you can't break the rule, or she'll stop sending you pictures altogether. That's the thing.
Right.
And as far as the hard copies go,
Does she
there
mean
was
like
a time
printed
like-
photos?
yeah, like printed
Oh,
photos.
wow. I'm
I feel like
impressed.
if you really want those, you're just going to probably have to do that on your own. You're going to have to take
my
those
mom
texts,
does it.
and you can take them. Your mom does it. You don't do
Yes,
it for her.
She takes them.
Your
and does
80-year-old
them at-
mother does this herself.
86-year-old mother
sorry?
does it at Walgreens.
And they walk her through it, or does she
Yeah,
know
I
what to
mean,
do?
now she's become a pro because she has a million pictures of everybody in her house.
Okay.
Almost too many. Sorry, Mom. So you can get them at CVS, Walgreens, and they'll print them for
Mm-hmm.
you. But I don't do that. I just have them on my phone.
We had Thanksgiving at Buca de Beppo restaurant in South Florida. It was just I know that sounds so funny. They were serving traditional food and we were visiting and we're just, this was what worked for everybody. And they had a photographer going around taking professional photos. And my sister was inclined to purchase them, and that's fine.
Right.
I kind of like thought we could have just done a big selfie
Right.
together or something. So she purchases them, and then she proceeds to take pictures of them and have those made. She has more made. First, she pays like $200 for all these photos.
Wow.
And then she goes and she does all of this other, and sends us these large versions of these photos
Oh my
that
God.
we have nowhere to
the
put.
8x10s.
So I'm like, put these in a drawer.
Right. And
So
that's
that
what
we
happens.
can hang them up when someone visits, But
Right.
and I say that obviously they don't listen to the podcast.
Right.
but my point is, you just kind of have to go with the flow, like you said. I mean, if somebody, it would be nice to send for birthdays, maybe get some nice frames if you know their style. But
Right.
but that kind of also flies in the face as an organizer
Yep.
of what you would say, which is going around and getting things framed that can gather dust and that can, they may not want to put them out.
Well, and also one thing I see a lot is how many different frames that none of them go together. You got wood frames, you got gold frames, you got silver frames, you got decorative frames. I mean, people have like with the word mom on it, and you know what I mean. So it just gets to be a little overwhelming.
So if mom, and I don't get the impression from this particular email, if mom is somebody who really can't figure a way to go and get these photos you're texting printed, then maybe take her the next time you're in town
Right.
or whatever, take her to CVS or Walgreens or whatever and walk her through the process and show her. It's pretty easy.
Well, does it bother you when you do see a kid who has the circle on his face?
To me, it feels silly. I get
I would just rather
the happy face.
Yeah, the little happy face. I mean, I think if you're just not going to do it, then don't do it.
Yeah.
But, a little kid with a happy face on it, nobody really wants to see you. They
Yes,
want to
so-
see the little kid.
So what we're saying is, yes, you got to take your grandson to the zoo,
Right.
but he looks like an emoji.
Right. He looks like an emoji, and no one wants to see you. They want to see the child,
so
So what's the point?
Unfortunately, you'll have to reserve the bragging about your
Right.
grandchildren for people you're
Right.
in person seeing. If your child does not want you sharing
Right.
those photos online, you have to respect
Right.
that. We
I
both
agree.
So, am I the drama? Yes. If you're not going to go along with that,
Yes.
you're
Then
gonna
that
get-
is going to cause drama,
and you're going to
too,
get
and
cut
it's-
off. You're going
and
to
it's-
not get
right.
pictures anymore.
Right.
So don't do it. It's not worth it. All right. I also thought you would love this one.
Uh-oh.
Here we go. Okay, my best friend is suddenly dry. She's on board with that whole sober living for weight loss, clarity, etc. Good for her. I think it's fabulous for her. She thinks that we should no longer do any of our regular get-togethers at wine bars or places that would entice her to have a glass of wine or a cocktail. That seems unreasonable to me. She's not an alcoholic. She's just trying not to drink, and I applaud her for that. But the rest of us, 3 other women, look forward to our monthly girls' nights out, and admittedly, wine is a big part of that. So who's the drama there? Is that a lot to ask your friends? I mean, it's one thing
Yes.
if you're in rehab
Yes.
and you want the support when you get out, but if you're
Right.
just doing
If you're just decide
Sober
you don't want to
curious
drink
and-
anymore because it's just not agreeing with you, I say go and have a Perrier. I mean, just sit and chit chat for a while and then go home.
yeah.
I mean,
so-
I think that's drama, because then you're
Yeah.
going to say, I don't want to do that. Let's all go to the library, or let's go to the park
library.
or wherever. And they're like, no, I don't want to do that,
Right.
because this is maybe a way they all relax, having a glass of wine and chit-chatting
Yeah.
about their kids, their day, whatever. So no, I think that about anything that someone quits. That's like someone saying, okay, I quit eating red meat, or I quit eating whatever. So you can't go to a restaurant that serves hamburgers or steaks.
there are other things on the menu.
There's other things on the menu, and you can't expect other people to do something just because you're doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Then maybe she should bow out and do more one-on-one things with the girls, like go have lunch or something. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? But no, I think it's high drama to ask a group of women to change what they're doing because you're not doing it anymore.
I wonder
Thoughts?
too, though. So here's my thought on it. I think exactly the way you think, selfish as it may be. I rarely go out, and if I do, I don't want to. I mean, what are some of the other options? There are plenty of them, but it's just not the same dynamic. And there are a lot of things you could do. You could go see a movie, but then
Right.
afterwards, get coffee and chat.
Right.
But you like you said, could order something different, but to hold up everybody else. you know,
Right.
and I know that there's that feeling of like I'm not supporting her if I don't make the change, but I don't know.
But like you
Plus,
said,
is it even going to
didn't-
stick? I don't know.
It didn't sound like she, like you said, came out of rehab. I mean, then you are trying to support your friend,
then
and you're
you
not going to shove it
absolutely-
in someone's face.
Absolutely. That's when you say, hey, let's all go for a hike.
Right.
You know, which
right.
I'm sure you
A
would be sick
walk
that
or-
day.
Yeah, whatever. Right. I would be sorry, love to go, but
I have other
to wash
plans.
my hair. But I agree. I think that it's it didn't sound like that. It sounded like a dry January or something
Right.
like that. And, I don't buy into that.
Yeah. If you're gonna do it, do it.
Right.
But
Right.
if you have to miss one get together because you just don't think you have the willpower, that's a shame. But
Right.
maybe
Right.
maybe
I
but-
agree with that.
Or set up an alternate plan too. Say, everybody's getting together, on our third Thursday of the month, but would anybody also like to join me for a pedicure on Saturday?
Right.
Because I miss you guys, but I just don't
Right.
think I can
Right.
go and not.
I'm not
order.
at that place right now. It's still too enticing to me.
Right. Exactly. All right. Have you ever heard of a hormone disruptor? It doesn't sound good because it isn't, and they're everywhere. If you're starting to feel overwhelmed by hormonal changes, we've got something great to share with you. It's called Hormone Harmony, and it contains science-backed herbal extracts called adaptogens. And here's the beauty about those. They help the body adapt to stressors like chaotic hormonal changes. You're not imagining the racing thoughts or the low moods because those are menopause symptoms. So is poor sleep, bloating, and gas. Happy Mammoth, the company that created Hormone Harmony, is dedicated to making women's lives easier. Try Hormone Harmony. For a limited time, you can get 15% off your entire first order at happymammoth.com. Use our code UUPodcast at checkout. That's happymammoth.com. Use the code UUPodcast for 15% off today. Go to happymammoth.com and use the code UUPodcast. Uncluttered and Unfiltered is supported by Hearts for Minds. Can you imagine waiting 10 years to get screened for cancer? On average, people with mental health issues experience a 10-year delay between symptoms and seeking help, and close to 2/3 of mental illnesses go untreated. Hearts for Minds promotes healthy lives by promoting mental health education, facilitating early identification, and connecting people to treatment. Are you ready to learn more? Go to heartsforminds.org. That's hearts, the number 4, minds.org for more information and to learn how you can help. Here we go. Got another good one for you. This one is really, really good.
Okay.
Okay. My son and his wife, it's always the daughter-in-law.
I know.
My son and his wife just purchased a very large new home. They are both physicians, so I'm sure you can imagine that it's extremely spacious with an upstairs bonus area that they would like to use as a mother-in-law suite. Okay, so now
I hear that.
Yep, here we go. They have suggested that I move in and work as a nanny for the kids. I would love to live with them and spend quality time with them as a family and help out as much as possible, but I prefer to pay rent and not be their employee. My daughter-in-law feels that means that she would have me and another person in her home all of the time, and she doesn't like that idea. She says if I'm willing to help out, why wouldn't I just accept the free living arrangement? I'm not in a financial situation where that's important enough to me to give up my freedom. My son agrees with her and feels I'm being stubborn. I don't want to work for my kids. Am I the drama?
No, don't do it. Don't even move in. Don't do it. I hope she's listening. I'm begging you.
I mean,
No, I
get
say
it.
absolutely not. 100. There's no doubt in my mind that is going to end up in a disaster.
Yeah.
First of all, like I was saying in the beginning of the show, I don't know how old this woman is, but I'm assuming she's over 50. You wouldn't be able to keep up with 2 kids, 3 kids, and be a nanny. And I don't think your mother should be your nanny.
Well,
Do you?
Well, no, and I actually have experience in this. So let me tell you, and the person I'm about to mention is no longer a part of our family life, just to kind of happen that way. So I know she won't hear this, and frankly, it wasn't a great relationship. But my late father-in-law's wife. Okay.
Late father.
So I'm
I
gonna
always
walk you
have
through
to-
this scenario.
Yeah. Okay. Late
So this is my
father-in-law's
late
wife.
father-in-law, his wife.
Okay.
She was a bit of a pill, as we used to say.
Right.
And they found themselves in a bit of a financial situation where they asked, could they move in with us for a little while? Wow. So they did.
Oh,
In our upstairs. That's one part of the story. That's not even the part of the story
wow.
So I can speak to that. That's a tough situation. And our house, not that big, so it's not even like this situation where
Right.
it's so spacious. Okay, but we were sending our daughter to preschool before she was even potty trained, really. So this was not even really preschool so much as daycare.
Right.
And our son was in kindergarten. And she wanted to be the nanny because she needed the money. And she was like, why are you, you're paying them. You could pay me and I can just, keep the child. And I thought, okay.
Right.
Because you're thinking, all right, maybe there'll even be a cost break for me
Right.
there. And I'm
Right.
helping out. And, she's with her grandparents. It was not a good situation. There were arguments. There was drama. There was a lot of drama. And then there were even days where if she had other plans and then I had to find other care, and she still wanted to be. It was just
It never works
very-
out. Very rarely. I shouldn't say never.
It was rough.
Right.
It was rough. I mean,
And
there are
then-
many reasons why we don't stay in touch with her now that
Yeah.
his dad has passed. Many reasons. But you can well imagine that, forget the fact that she was a tough person to get along with,
Right.
but just having a family member be your employee, you're paying, you're
doesn't
exchanging money.
It doesn't
It
work.
might for some people. And listen, if you're in, you might be listening and you actually are in that situation and it's working beautifully, but you're probably the exception.
Oh, definitely the exception, because people's feelings get hurt. They feel taken advantage of. What if they trip and fall in your house over the kids' toys and then you're stuck because you don't have, I just don't see that being a good scenario.
Oh, that was another thing that came between me and this woman, was that she was a nanny. This was after she was watching my daughter. Both my kids were in school at this point, and she was watching someone else's child, and she was like watching the child at her place, but they had to give up their apartment for financial reasons and move in with us, and she wanted to watch him at my
Oh, my
house.
God.
And I was like, no, ma'am.
way.
For one thing, I was getting home from work at noon. I didn't want that
Oh,
going on in my
God.
home all day. Plus the liability. I don't know anything
No.
about it, but
Right.
I
No,
didn't want
a
any
lot
part
of
of it.
liability. Being married to a lawyer, I can tell you lots of liability there.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So that was, she had beef
How
with
long
me
did
for
they
that.
stay?
Oh my gosh.
This is
I
so
want to say 10
fascinating.
years, but I think it was
10 years
I
they
think it was
stayed
really
in your
2
house?
months. No, it felt like 10.
Oh, I thought you
It
said
was really,
10
no, I want to say that, but it was really about 2 months.
Oh, okay. I mean,
It was about 2 months.
2 months too long.
It was a very long 2 months.
Yeah.
Very long 2 months.
Yeah.
So-
I think in general, there is a rule that it's fine if someone comes for the weekend, like a long weekend, Thursday to Sunday. Any longer than that, and there's going to be problems. One way or another, they're going to eat you out of house and home, and you have to go to the grocery store again, or they leave wet towels on the floor, and you're like, hello, we're in our 60s or 50s, and what? I just think you're set in your ways by our age, or
Right.
you were younger at the time. But I think just keeping it to a minimum and
Yeah.
doing, like I said, a long weekend is the perfect amount of time, and then you have to get back to your own routine,
Yeah.
in my
I mean,
opinion.
there are definitely scenarios where this can work or it has to work, and you have to make
Well,
it work.
sometimes it has
because
to
you want to
work.
help.
Yeah.
You want to be there for your family members. You want to be
Right.
there for your friends, and I think that is always the right thing to do if you can help in some way. But if you can avoid it, or certainly avoid being the employee
Right.
of your
Right.
daughter-in-law and
Yeah.
son, because no matter how great a relationship you have with an in-law, unless 25 years have gone by, you're
Right.
probably not as close as there's going to be. You and your spouse will have arguments. It's just a whole big mess.
Well, that's the thing. And also, haven't you noticed, like, have you ever been to a friend, a good friend, who is your accountant or your doctor or whatever, and it doesn't go well?
It's very, very stressful.
I call it very awkward turtle. That's an old saying from the 90s. Where it's
Awkward turtle.
Awkward turtle. It used to be a little hand motion when you'd say awkward turtle.
Gosh, I don't remember
And-
that.
Yeah. It's because you feel bad.
Yeah.
You feel bad, but you're not happy with the situation. But you have to move on, because what if you want a second opinion?
Yes.
Or, so I always say, friends, family, if you're paying money, if it's a financial thing, it's never a good idea. It never is.
It can be very awkward.
Yeah.
It can be very awkward, Turtle. I would like everyone to go, and I would like everyone to use that in a sentence today. That is your assignment. Sometimes we leave you feeling like you want to reorganize your laundry room.
Right.
Other times we have you leave us to use a word like awkward turtle.
Exactly. You never know what you're going to get here.
You just don't know what you're going to learn.
Yes.
And by the way, speaking of laundry rooms, today Christine was on our television show, River City Live.
Yes.
And we did a segment using technology where we had this swipey board. And
She swiped, not me. So
and
I can't.
and we got to the end and it wouldn't swipe anymore. And Christine says, I think it means our segment's over. And I like that, because what it really meant was I must have made a mistake and not put all the pictures in or something like that. We got through about 5 or 6
Right,
pictures, so
right.
it wasn't a bad thing. But we got to the end and it just wouldn't swipe anymore when it was supposed to. But they were
We
really
need
good
to go
tips.
back- Don't you think we need to go back to like a remote? You
Yes,
know what
everything
I mean?
touch screen. We're such crabs today. We're like, don't let
go
your
back to
kids
the
live with you.
remote.
Yeah. So anyway, that was that was a great segment, and I will make sure everybody knows where they can see that, because you did give some really great tips on using your laundry room
Well, thank you.
in a way that's productive,
Yes.
because nobody likes doing their laundry.
Nobody does. Or they
And-
don't even like their laundry room. Usually
Right,
they want to
right.
redo it, or it's not working right for them. So I see so many different laundry rooms, and I can't tell you how different they all are, and every circumstance is different. So
Yeah. So thank you guys for watching, or listening rather, today. And we got to say that there aren't probably a lot of podcasts where we'll start out talking about Am I the Drama, somehow get talking about laundry rooms. And all of these are things that are geared to you if you're a woman over 50.
Yes.
So please join our community. It's on Facebook. We have a group that's admission has to be granted to you.
Right.
That's just to make sure everyone feels comfortable and safe in that group. It's a safe space, as they say. And it's called Uncluttered and Unfiltered Ladies Only on Facebook. Of course, we're on all of the other social
Right.
platforms, but that's the one where people feel very comfortable, it seems,
right.
asking each other questions. And maybe you have a scenario like the ones we mentioned, or feel free to say, you know what, that's not really my cup of tea. I got
Right.
enough problems of my own. I don't want to hear everybody else's problems. Whatever the case may be,
Right.
your
Or
feedback.
if you have a problem,
yeah.
submit it, and we'd love to talk about it and let you know our thoughts on it.
Yeah.
We
you can stay anonymous.
Yes. Oh, definitely stay anonymous. So no worries there.
So anyway, thank you so much for listening. And remember, whether it is having someone move in with you as your employee or just visiting for a nice long weekend,
Yes.
you don't have to let them move in. You can let it go.
And don't look back.
Owning a boat comes with a number of perks, like being able to say ahoy or land ho and not feel weird about it. So here's another perk. Geico's boat insurance offers access to the largest towing fleet on the water. And with specialist support from agents that are as passionate about boating as you are, there's so much value that you'll want to say, shiver me timbers, and not feel weird about that either. Get more with Geico.
You just realized your business needed to hire someone yesterday. How can you find amazing candidates fast? Easy. Just use Indeed. Stop struggling to get your job post seen on other job sites. With Indeed sponsored jobs, your post jumps to the top of the page for your relevant candidates, so you can reach the people you want faster. According to Indeed data, sponsored jobs posted directly on Indeed have 45% more applications than non-sponsored jobs. Don't wait any longer. Speed up your hiring right now with Indeed. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/kidsandfamily. Just go to Indeed.com/kidsandfamily right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Hiring? Indeed is all you need. You just realized your business needed to hire someone yesterday. How can you find amazing candidates fast? Easy. Just use Indeed. Stop struggling to get your job post seen on other job sites. With Indeed sponsored jobs, your post jumps to the top of the page for your relevant candidates, so you can reach the people you want faster. According to Indeed data, sponsored jobs posted directly on Indeed have 45% more applications than non-sponsored jobs. Don't wait any longer. Speed up your hiring right now with Indeed. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/kidsandfamily. Just go to Indeed.com/kidsandfamily right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Hiring? Indeed is all you need.